Hi everyone. Making great decisions is the bottom line in making your life work and in the evolution and development of the world today. Now, in this short video, I want to address that with some depth and with some potency that will help you really understand what we're discovering people in the world are facing, with all the changes that are going on, especially if you're in business and an entrepreneur, which is someone who really wants to bring new opportunities out into the world and present them in a really practical, usable way to people. Or you're an innovator in any area of life, whether it be arts or relationships or business or, anything, any endeavor whatsoever. There is so much change happening in the world, but where the rubber hits the road is decision making. And as we're putting this course together and presenting it, we're beginning to see that this is the real issue that we're addressing. And this is the real issue that you need to face in your life in order to be able to manifest the change that you want to manifest in your life or in this world. See, one of the most powerful things we have is choice. But the only part of us that actually has the ability to choose is what we call our conscious mind. And we're far greater than just our conscious mind. We have a subconscious mind, you've probably heard about. We have an unconscious mind. Both of them are very conscious, actually, despite their names, and very powerful. But they don't have choice. We only have choice consciously. The only choices that really do make a difference are the choices that you make very consciously, because that's where you can change your life. If you're making choices unconsciously, you're just following conditioning, or you're following programming or decisions you made in a bad state earlier on in your life, or decisions that other people made for you, or choices that other people made for you. The type of choices that really make a difference is when you make a choice very deliberately and very consciously. But the choice is not what makes it really turn up in your life. It's not what makes it happen. It's when you make a decision, and choices and decisions are linked, but when you make a decision, that's when you start moving ahead and doing things. That's when you really open your mind, open your heart, open all your potential, all your talent, all your gifts to being able to have that thing turn up in your world, or to make that thing happen in your world, or to at least create the environment where that thing can emerge, can become not just a possibility, but something that's probable, and then something that's really actually here. Okay, so as I said, choices and decisions are linked. It's the decision that brings it into the physical world. The choice happens within you, within the various dimensions of who you are within yourself. And you could say, you can make choices with your mind, but how do you know that that choice is a good decision for you? And I mean good in the sense of, you're ready for it, and you've got the ability in your body, in your gifts, to be able to enjoy it, rather than it turning up and then you feel overwhelmed by it or not knowing what to do with it. Or, and here's the other thing, how do you know the timing is right, that you're ready, that the world is ready for what you have to offer? So those sort of things need to be made by the part of us that lives in this world, and that is this body. As I've said many times before, from our mind's point of view, this world is an illusion and a virtual reality. But from your body's point of view, and from all the levels of intelligence that are contained within you, within this body in this lifetime, this world is very real. And so your body and your being within your body, the consciousness within your body that's connected to the body, the part of you that really feels this world, has a vested interest and is tuned in enough to make those sort of decisions. Whereas your mind will tend to do it much more on a whim or an ideal, or because somebody else thought it'd be a good idea, or it will help you survive or fit in. So that's one incredible reason why, whether you've ever heard of human design or not, human design is worth looking into. Really looking into, not because you'd want to study human design, because it gives you a really viable, powerful alternative that you can test in your real life in order to make decisions, which is to know whether the choices you make are good decisions, whether the timing's right, whether you're ready for it, whether you have the gifts to handle it, or you should hand it over to somebody else, whether it's actually something that your life would be, enriched by. Because most of the time, in business, for instance, we're often driven by ambition and wanting to be, by our ego's agendas, or, how we're being conditioned by our upbringing or the people around us. And then the interaction of those, your ego wanting to, get it right, which it never really does, and never really can actually, because it only has a limited view of life. And then, the conditioning, which is everybody else's desires, not yours, and which your body isn't really designed or suited to act out, because you've got your own agenda based on who you are and your life. So making decisions from a part of you that's really connected to your body is going to make a big, big, big difference in your life. And the decisions will be far more correct, appropriate, and well-timed. So that's, whether you do human design or anything else, that's something you need to really look at. Now, there's another thing I'm going to mention briefly, but this is quite intricate. So use your imagination, follow with me as I go into this. You've heard about people talking about various dimensions of life. Well, the obvious thing is, there's these 3 dimensions of space that we live in. There's what would you say, right and left, or sorry, right and left. Okay. Then there's in front and behind. You could call it depth, width, and then there's height, up and down. So there's 3 dimensions of space that we live in that we take for granted because we operate and work within them so much, that it just becomes natural for us to operate in that realm. But space just by itself wouldn't have given us the ability to live the life we do in the body that we have. There's also a 4th dimension, which is time. Because if you had just 3 dimensions of space and no time, that's what you'd have, you'd have that sort of frozen experience. But time gives us the ability to move through space in a very unique way and experience space. Often we experience it linearly, but time has other ways of operating apart from just in a straight line. There's cycles of time, like the seasons, etc., etc., etc. Okay, but beyond that, we know that we have life beyond time and space because we think, we dream, we vision, and there's this whole 5th dimension called the dimension of imagination. And it doesn't take much imagination to imagine that, because we all do, as I said, think, dream, vision. We have ideals that we aspire to, and that's a whole realm, a whole dimension of life within which, believe it or not, time and space exist. And beyond that, there's another couple of dimensions I'll mention, and we'll just put this together in a moment. One is a realm that's called a realm of chaos, and it's like, oh, chaos. No, there is a whole dimension of chaos beyond imagination. You might say out of chaos emerges imagination, and out of our imagination emerges time and then space. And beyond chaos lies this dimension called creativity. Now, there's other dimensions beyond that as well, but just for the sake of illustrating what I'm talking about, which is the importance of decisions and the importance now of decision making. Okay, you've got these 7 dimensions I've outlined so far, and you've got ourselves historically. We've moved to a place where just making decisions with our mind is inadequate. It was appropriate for tens of thousands of years, but now it doesn't work. And you can see so much of the chaos happening in the world, in your life even, is because you're trying to figure it all out with your mind, and your mind isn't capable of making decisions that really work for this body as well. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, the mind has a better job to do than running your life right now. And secondly, there's a far more accurate way of making decisions, which I talked about earlier on, which is in this body. So how does that all tie together? Well, we can make choices with our conscious mind, and we can check with our subconscious and unconscious if that's a damn good decision. You know, particularly with our is this going to work in the reality that I live in? You know, with the beliefs that I have and the way my life's set up, is the timing right? You know, is this the next experience I need to embrace that will really take my life to where it's really meant to be and to live the life I'm truly meant to live? Well, when you step outside time, space and use your imagination, you then eventually come across this realm of chaos, which we're all afraid of, but there's really nothing to be afraid of, because it's out of that order emerges, and out of order we go back to chaos, because it's such a powerful place. Because beyond chaos lies creativity. So if we're going to access our creativity, particularly as an innovator and an entrepreneur, someone who's on the cutting edge, who wants to make a difference in your life and potentially in the world, you want to be able to access your creativity. But you need to go, and that takes courage to really access that. And all the myths talk about, you know, the great hero going through some sort of chaotic thing to reach the source of their creativity and then coming back through the chaos. And it's all done in the realm of imagination, movies and all that sort of stuff. So there's this whole journey. But chaos itself is a beautiful thing. So much beauty lies within chaos, because in chaos you access true, real love. And you combine your creativity with love, work with it in the realm of your imagination and make real choices. And then you access time and space through making correct decisions. So there is so much chaos available in the world, which means there's so much creativity available now. And we just need to use the power of our imagination to look at all our choices, to look at all the possibilities, to discover who we really are. But when we translate that into making something real in your physical life, manifesting something, living a dream, you know, building a business, creating a relationship, it's that decision-making process that's the bridge. And because this world is in so much change at the moment, and all of our lives are in so much change, it's that decision-making that's the bridge. There is so many decisions to make in our life now, and we need to know how to make decisions that bring creativity and the beauty and the love of chaos and the richness of imagination, the wealth and abundance of imagination into the physical world. This is not about getting out of this life and finding heaven somewhere else with all virgins or anything else, streets paved with gold. And you know, this is about bringing beauty, bringing love, bringing creativity, bringing individuality, bringing, you know, that heaven that we dream of to earth, and living it and creating it and including each one of us in it, and living the unique individual lives we have been given, so we can give the gifts that we have, the gifts of innovation, creativity, being an entrepreneur, living a wonderful life, just being a living example of that. That's what the world needs now. They say the world what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Well, love brings with it creativity, rich and abundant imagination, and all the bounty of those realms. And it's decision making that where the rubber hits the road and where you make it real in your real life. So that's why we did a course that included human design, because it's the most powerful tool I know about for really answering the question, how do I make decisions that really work? And there's so many Facebook groups, business seminars, corporate groups working together, trying to nut out with their minds the process of decision making. Whereas you've got built right within you an ability to make decisions already that's correct for you, that's right for you, that works for you, and it's different from other people. And when all of us start accessing that, at least test it out and see if it really does offer you a better option. I'll be there, come in, then check it out, really check it out, because, what we're offering in this course is the ability for you to take not control of your life, but for your life to emerge as it truly is, in its full potential, in its richest way. And for you to access that through powerful, effective, uniquely designed for you decision making. So hopefully I enjoyed doing that. It was wonderful. So hopefully you have as well. And I hope I got the point across to you, because this is such a crucial point to get now. That with all the stuff going on and all the spiritual and consciousness development and ethics and taking care of people in the world and, bringing us all together, it's the decision making that's going to tie all that together and make it real. So if you're interested in the course we're doing, check out Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, or you could call it Decision Making for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, Real Decision Making for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, Course 1. And I'll talk to you again in the future. Bye.